Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Play Oregon Trail. Today, one of our paladins has dysentery, and Tom has died while fording the river. Unfortunately, what we're actually playing is Majesty, the Fantasy Kingdom Sim. This is episode 27, Vigil for a Fallen Hero, and the paladin, Gonorrhea, has died. With me here to commemorate this horrible occasion.
Well, I'm cool guy, and honestly, I'm glad we're playing this game instead of Oregon Trail, because if we were playing Oregon Trail, the most important thing I could do is buy 52 grandfather clocks.
Hey everybody, it's the last Robokai here, and I'm just gonna cross this river for a moment. I hope nothing goes wrong.
Flooding, massive flooding in Australia, contemporary topics.
Hello everybody, this is George Ledoux, otherwise known as the voice of the Royal Advisor, and I welcome you to episode 27, and I certainly hope that we can keep you awake for the entire episode.
Wow.
Here's a little thing I just realized. I wasn't supposed to start playing the video until after this series of introductions, so I'm going to back it up.
It pains me to inform you that our realm's most valiant and renowned paladin, Gloria Oathtaker, was slain while questing in the Outlands. There is not one hero or peasant in this village who does not owe their lives to her selfless acts. Your subjects demand the head of whoever or whatever murdered our brave Gloria. Please move quickly and send a small contingent of battle-hardened heroes to the Outlands. This deed cannot go unpunished.
George, do you happen to know who named that character?
I have no idea, but boy, I was listening to that, and I was like, oh my god, man. Such emotion I was putting into that.
Dude,
before.
You knocked these last couple out of the freaking park. I said that on the siege last time.
I was laughing at him because, oh my god, I mean, I was there, so I know what was really happening in the room. And boy, considering what I've done and where I've been since I made this game, it's fun for me to hear it, but also at the same time slightly embarrassing. So.
Dude, I was just saying on the siege last time, you freaking spit it out when it's just like you can't build wizards guilds because it's bargains, and you're just like, man, you just spit it out. It's so good.
Okay.
So, not even a day has passed and we're already down our wizard.
How'd that happen?
Wizards.
Okay.
Also wizards. Right. But
he decided to punch fight some magic-resistant enemies.
For those of you who are slow readers, perhaps, the shtick on this episode is you cannot build basically anything. You can build a few economic buildings and a blacksmith, and that's about it. You have to find everything else, from a sorcerer's abode, which is extremely important, to other things. I forget. I don't know why it's not coming to me.
Well, a magic bazaar is obviously one of them, because that's what you just came up with.
Yeah. So you have to protect those, and the best way to do that, because you can't build ballista towers, is guardhouses. And so you're going to see me spend some obscene amount of gold on guardhouses over the course of this episode.
Not that you were going to be spending on anything else.
Dat Yeti, though.
And it doesn't necessarily do anything else anyway.
Question: that large white creature, that's the abomination?
No, that is a yeti.
That's a yeti.
It is just a yeti. Okay, because I'm like, that looks like a yeti to me.
It is an abominable snowman, but otherwise.
Okay, Bumbles, bounce, got it.
He's a pain. I slowed it down precisely so everybody could see exactly how big of a deal he was. He just completely two-shotted that one Medusa, and then the monk was just like, whatever, I've got an instant kill move, so deal with it.
I love the monks.
Poked him in the eye.
The monks legitimately saved my bacon in this Let's Play more than any other hero type. I mean, I never really thought too much of them before this Let's Play, but they're my favorite now.
Yeah, I like them. Quiet but strong.
And it has nothing to do with the fact that you voiced them.
Oh. Oh, that's all I did. I was like, oh, geez.
Having a particularly good meal.
Speaking of meals, here's the beef.
So yeah, this happens kind of a lot.
Jesus.
Yeah, this is basically how the game tries to apply pressure to you in lieu of having like a bunch of monster spawners. It does scripted monster invasions that get worse and worse as time goes on, and still can't believe that Magic Bazaar survived.
Yeah,
I'm watching that. Like, boy, you had a ton of peasants in there, and all of a sudden it was all built again. I'm impressed.
Well, thanks, Lunod.
If the peasants had been a little slower, that would have been it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the monk and the Lunord adept this mission are kind of my two ringers. Everyone else ranges from occasionally useful to rogues.
No, I was being sarcastic because he saw all the Minotaurs there and then decided to teleport away and then run back.
You'll regret dissing him eventually.
It's funny, Cool Guy was saying, whenever I did play this game, I don't think I ever used Lunord. Ever. I actually forgot it existed. Well, I didn't play it, so
You don't get Lunord for adepts, generally speaking. Adepts are the right call on like deal with the demon or whatever, but in the general sense, you want my favorite ladies, the Solar Eye. But when you're talking about utility spells, I mean, just Winged Feet, man. Winged Feet kicks all sorts of butt.
I'm gonna contest that and say that adepts, once they are high enough level to not run away from everything, they're actually pretty good fighters.
They're not bad. It's just that Solar Eye is so much better.
Yeah.
Solar Eye can basically punch fight everything from the word
these
go.
are the shadow dogs from the Sticks and Stones episode.
Oh man, these guys are dicks.
Yeah, they only come in one wave, but they do come in a gigantic wave of about 20 of them from both sides of the map.
Oh yeah,
and some of them are just still out there at the end of the mission because I never bothered to go kill them. But they tear apart about half my kingdom, which is awesome.
It amazes
Did
me
you guys
that
ever keep playing these missions after you won it? Just to keep
Not
building stuff?
not for this LP, but I usually do when I'm playing them for fun.
Yeah,
That's what I meant. I meant not so much for the LP, but when you were just playing them, for fun for the first time.
Yeah, there are a couple missions that it is a good time to keep playing afterwards, but for the most part, once you've beaten it, it dies down a bit.
I mean, for me, this game has the sort of same timeless appeal that Diablo 2 has for a lot of people. Even after I beat this entire game, I'll find myself coming back to it on about roughly a yearly basis to just rock it all over again. It's just there's no game like this. There isn't.
No, there isn't. I've seen people on the forums going, I don't know what the hell's going on. And gee, I can't understand why you wouldn't. I mean, it's obviously very self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's completely weird, and it's just like you gotta stick with it for a couple of episodes because it's completely out there.
And it's not just the mechanic. There's such a weird charm to a lot of this game. And I think, in my opinion, that's a lot of what was missing from Majesty 2. It was just the real unique characteristic of it. I mean, it would be hard to totally recreate it anyway without the same people behind it.
Yeah, I mean, you really needed the same people for the same design ethos that goes into it, and that's very much what people attribute to the soul of the game, and it's very difficult to get back to. What's also difficult to get over is the loss of that sorcerer abode. Ouch.
Yeah. So traditionally speaking, when I play this mission, if I lose the sorcerer's abode, usually everything else has gone wrong to a certain point where I don't have the heroes necessary to defeat the abomination. Because despite the abomination's, look, it looks pretty bad. It looks like it'd fuck a guy up. It's not actually that difficult. If you have a couple good heroes, you can beat this mission.
That hero that was fighting all those shadow dogs, man.
Yeah, you may have noticed that some of the shadow dogs have been suborned by priestesses because they're technically undead.
That they are.
Your Highness.
Sparkling
Was that a
ants
cultist that
is-
was fighting them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sparkling ants.
Yeah, sparkling. That's what I figured it was a cult. It was one of the cultists because they have the craziest names.
Yeah.
Also, knife throwing bears, as we've often said, is one of those things.
And those are those, what is that, a Medusa or? It's got a striped body.
That's a gorgon.
Yeah,
Oh, it is a Gorgon. Okay.
Yeah, the greater gorgons are a serious freaking problem in any mission where you have a lot of restricted resources like this, just because they spawn new Medusae. They can just do it as an ability, and it's really annoying.
So these two guys actually do a lot of work for me because there are graveyards. There are 4 sets of 3 graveyards out in the middle of the wilderness, and they don't spawn a ton. Most of your problems come from specific monster plagues, but destroying them does allow you to get to the abomination easier, depending on what corner of the map he spawned in.
Man, those guardhouses are just getting all sorts of expensive.
Yeah, continually. Just thankfully, they eventually reach critical mass, and I get to the point where replacing one is just the same cost every time, because only like one of them gets destroyed. But it's still 10k a pop.
Wow.
Your Highness, we've improved.
So
the
George,
guardhouse.
we when we were chatting before this, we were mentioning our Dawn of War 2 let's play. It sounded like you had a really fun story about that. We wanted to hold off for getting in here. What was that?
Oh, well,
I totally interrupted you at the time.
No, I'm very sorry. It was not a totally fun story.
Oh.
And you're probably going to want to cut this out. All I was getting to was that this game was really designed by people who were really into the tabletop games. I mean, everybody that was behind this, that was their main thing. They had been playing games since they were young, in college and everything. So a lot of the design elements, I think, probably come from that.
That's easy to note.
But what I was going to say about the Warhammer 40k is the guy who at the time of this game was only but he was the marketing director for the company. He was a huge Warhammer 40k fan.
That is
and he
freaking
was always
incredible.
talking about it, and I never knew what the hell he was talking about, because he would often sit in the voiceover recording sessions and because a lot of people would, because it was still kind of a new thing to do at the company. So it's like, hey, let's go watch the monkey in the booth. Yeah, okay. So that's kind of what was going on. But he would come in there and he'd start referencing all this stuff about Warhammer. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? I was like, I haven't seen any Warhammer in this game. When you guys are showing me art, what's this Warhammer thing? I thought it was something to do with the dwarves. Vaguely. That's all I had.
Yeah.
That is
And
fantastic.
back then, honestly, I didn't even own a computer when this was built. So I had nothing to, do research on,
Oh, that is
and I had no
grand.
friends that played games. So I finally asked this guy, what this was. Oh, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Never ask a nerd about Warhammer.
Yeah, do not ask a nerd about Warhammer. That's a problem.
It does. It does say a lot though that I think the kind of thing Majesty is, and a lot of games from this time were, is the chance for people to finally sort of visually realize the very games that they'd been playing in the past on Dungeons and Dragons or Warhammer Fantasy on the tabletop. A lot of those things will always encourage people to put their own personal touch on things, and I imagine everyone wanted to bring their own personal touch to this, and that's what video game making was back here, I assume.
I think it's very telling. I mean, we were just talking about the soul of the video game a couple of minutes ago, that everybody was basically such a geek on this team that even the marketing director was having a freaking ball with this. I love that. That's awesome.
Oh, and tell you, that same guy, he was really into, tabletop games, and his favorite thing about the whole process of playing these games was the miniatures, because he had worked in Hollywood.
Oh, really?
He actually worked on Starship Troopers and some other stuff that was before that. He was a model builder painter.
That
Mostly
is
a painter.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and great guy. His name's Jay Adon. But anyway, he had moved from California out to Massachusetts with his family, and I don't know, he got involved with these guys because of the whole game association. But he was working for the company as a marketing director. But nowadays, what he did after Cyberlore closed down is him and a couple other people opened a game store, which in this area didn't exist. We didn't have any of them. So they opened like one of the first game stores in the area. And, they would have gaming nights and all the stuff that's kind of standard now for these stores. But, I mean, back then it was unusual.
That sort of thing is a labor of love, no matter how you slice it. I mean, excuse me. I mean, I live in the middle of, just deepest suburbia. Like every cliche about suburbs that you can think of, I'm there at, and there's still only one gaming store in the entire area.
I just realized.
Is this a new technique? Is this
what
like?
Are you doing?
Like
He's making this.
Is this the Majesty equivalent of like the? Well, I was going to say 6 Gateway, but obviously we're getting a bit beyond that now.
Oh my god.
Well, instead of ballista towers and things, he's building royal gardens.
So let's talk about this mission for a minute.
Yeah, it's like people that plant marigolds. Go ahead.
One of my favorite things about this mission is that, despite that you don't have any sovereign spells except for the Sorcerer's Abode, this mission is kind of one of the best for just watching your heroes going around doing things and vaguely directing them with attack flags and just watching them go about their day and watching them use potions and everything. It's one of the kind of the most pure missions for just watching Majesty happen. And the reason for this is, unlike what I thought I remembered was that the Abomination would spawn at the top of the map at 30 days and come towards your castle and fuck it. But no. So my brilliant plan to have a bunch of royal gardens, as you'll see I'm typing now, to block the Abomination and slow him down while I enticed heroes with a giant reward flag was ultimately unnecessary. And it had a secondary effect of putting a trillion fucking gazebos around my castle.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
So this was the rise of Lord Gazebo.
Oh my god.
He's actually the long-lost cousin of Ben Fairweather. Didn't know it.
Baron Gazebo, first of his name.
Oh my god, this is magical.
Your Majesty, introduce my cousin, His Highness, the Count Gazebo. Here. Oh, hi, Your Majesty. He's the bastard we don't talk about in the family,
I completely and entirely forgot that royal gardens spawned gazebos, much less by your castle.
Oh.
Yeah, they free spawn them. Every time you build one, the thing is that the game itself always expects that you're only going to build one royal garden because that only one of them outputs a come visit me aura, which healers really like for what that's worth. So it like even the manual is just like you'll get a gazebo if you finish a royal garden because they never expected you to do this.
Right.
It's the only thing I had to block the Abomination I thought was gonna come killdozing through my kingdom.
Oh my god.
But he's
And it's great
idea.
because the gazebos are all on the other side of it, so they wouldn't help either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a sound idea.
It was
because
a very good idea.
He doesn't do a ton of damage.
It's a sound idea. Here, let me just build 1 million gazebos and gardens. It's perfectly sound. There's nothing crazy about this.
It's like Orb was opening a landscaping shop, you know.
This is
what you can do.
This is actually
Beautify
how
the
urban
wasteland.
renewal is supposed to go.
Uh-huh.
It's like, my lord, how will we deal with the Abomination? More flowers.
Your Highness, we have built 5,000 royal gardens. What are we going to do about all the bees?
I don't know, call the place Vienna and hire a bunch of people we can't afford.
That's right. But
Wow.
slugs are out of
Deep
control,
cuts.
Your Majesty.
Dead rogue.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Nothing of value was lost.
So does the abomination ever show up? Or
So, the Abomination is sitting out there on the map from day one.
really?
Yeah.
He's just sort of hanging out.
So, where
waiting for someone to
where
find
that
him.
top right attack flag is right now, that rightmost or explore flag, that's where he is.
Oh,
So
jeez.
he'll be found in a moment, and he'll kill somebody.
It's just a dude in a big rubber suit. He's checking his watch, waiting for his time to turn up.
Yeah, he kills this warrior.
It's my time now, you Megatron.
And there we go.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, he's a real motherfucker.
Holy crap, it's like Abthoth had sex with Shub Niggeroth.
All right,
Wow.
fucking nerd.
Wow, Lovecraft.
Oh my
References to Lovecraft and Majesty. Okay.
dude! Lovecraft is one of my favorite authors, but seriously, I mean, I've played the Arkham Horror board game more than once. It's like Abthoth had sex with Shub Niggeroth.
Well, you are as racist towards elves as Lovecraft is.
Yeah, in general. Yeah. Yes. A sheep with 1,000
dear.
young.
Oh my god.
So, what
Black goat
happens
in the woods.
for the rest of this episode is this adept mans the fuck up and beats the shit out of the Abomination single-handedly.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Blue math,
It,
fleet
it
foot.
takes him,
Okay,
it
I'm
takes him a
starting
couple
to figure out
times.
what's what on it.
Yeah, it takes him a couple times because he has to go back and heal.
That squishy
Look.
sound when he hits him!
While he's doing this elf motherfucker that you can see down in the bottom left,
Sweet wine.
keeps coming to this Abomination to get this Explorer flag and this attack flag, and then leaving.
Yep.
He does that about 5 times.
Just whatever.
Oh, it's not in the cards. Oh dear. I don't know. I've
That's
never
like
actually
100%
seen
not in
this
the cards.
abomination creature, and it really. I don't know about you guys, but this looks like something that. Like, you know these artists that take like children's drawings of monsters and turn them into, like really finer digital art and stuff. Have you ever seen those kind of things?
HR.
That's what this makes me think of.
Yeah.
This looks like something a kid drew. I have no idea, but I'm just thinking that would have been hilarious if like one of the art director's kid like, oh, Daddy, look what I drew. That's awesome. I have an idea.
Wouldn't be surprised if that's how H.R. Geiger always worked.
Yeah, really. That's true.
So you want to know the best part about Shitfucker? Is he doesn't even reach the Abomination. He gets scared off by a skeleton every time.
Oh.
Probably for the best. I'm gonna say we talked about it before. We love the claymation sort of appearance of the monsters, boss monsters in Majesty. They always look like something that's come out of like the special effects of like really old movies.
Or Celebrity
Yeah,
Deathmatch.
Ray Harryhausen was part of the creative team that nobody knew about.
This is part of the island of misfit toys that they didn't show you.
And with good cause.
What the hell is that guy?
Because
Nobody
nobody
wants
wanted
a Charlie in the box. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but
Nobody
wants a
abomination.
million gazebos.
No, nobody wants those.
Oh my
So,
god.
Look at
Can't
where this
find a
elf.
hole for
Look at what this elf does.
Oh my god.
Gets 10,000 gold for doing nothing because it's a fucking elf.
That's smart.
Killer.
Damn.
You guys were harping on me for hating elves.
Atoned for Gloria's loss, but at what cost? While the abomination has been dispatched, the surviving heroes are forever changed. Even the most stoic of these veterans has been plagued by shockingly vivid nightmares. Others have reported hearing its eerie call, while those around them hear only the normal bustle of life. All in attendance saw this indescribable evil die, but none feel its touch is truly gone from this world.
So 2 things to note. We were talking about Lovecraft, and that's very Lovecraft. And 2, all in attendance, and I'm air quoting with my fingers here, was the adept who did all the work and the fucking elf who stole half the gold.
Maybe the barbarian who was just a little bit too far away to steal credit.
Yeah. He was just thinking about all the money he didn't make.
Thinking about just punching one of the two of the willowy jerks who beat him out there in a foot race.
And the elf thinks they're hearing the abomination, but it's actually all following like at a short distance behind, going, "You stupid, you fucking."
It's so strange. Like I said, I've never seen that. It's like suddenly your heroes are all have PTSD. It's like, oh, it's a terrible shock, Your Majesty. We don't know what to do.
It just keeps the Northern Expansion just keeps kicking you in the backside every time you successfully complete a mission. It's great. Like even like Urban Renewal's like, hey, you've just killed fun. Screw you.
Right.
The Kingdom Psychiatrist is gonna have a long client list today.
Oh man.
I don't even know who tries to fill that in a Majesty Kingdom. I mean, like everybody is either dumb or insane anyway, so it kind of seems like.
Can't you just cast heal
It's
on them?
probably just Ben.
I can confirm the fact that there was a lot of Lovecraft influence because most of the people of Cyberlore were into H.P. Lovecraft, and
my brothers and sisters.
Yeah, many of them had played Arkham Horror. I didn't know what it was until someone pointed it out to me, and I was like, "That's Lovecraft," because I knew what that was. That I had read, but it was like,
it's fun.
Game.
It's funny. Wow. You talk about Lovecraft.
Did they try to make
people.
you play Arkham Horror then?
Oh,
No, I was very unapproachable because basically, I'd be like, "Well, guys, gotta go." I'd go in, do my thing, and then I'd be like, "Yeah, I gotta go home. I got wife and dog and everything else waiting for me. You guys in your single life, have fun. I gotta go."
Honestly,
And
you got off easy with not playing Arkham Horror. I'm a huge Lovecraft fan, and I'll be the first to tell you that game sucks.
I have friends that play it, but I just never had that sort of group of friends in real life. I know many people now, and it's great. But I mean, back then,
Arkham Horror is something that you can get away with never playing. That board game just sucks.
Which is a great time to announce our next LP, Arkham Horror.
Shut up!
With the expansion pack.
You are friggin' lying.
I am. I would never play Arkham Horror again if you put a gun to my head. I've played it twice.
Oh, it sounds like great fun then. Wow.
I mean, you can house rule it into being fun, but why would you do that to yourself? There are so many just board games that are good out of the box.
Some guy on Rock Paper Shotgun does a thing about board games every weekend, and his column on Arkham Horror ended with a little snippet that said, "It's not a very fun game, and it's very hard to learn the mechanics. But nothing else has come close to the creeping horror and the mechanical insanity that is Lovecraft as Arkham Horror."
That's a fair point. That is a very fair assessment.
I thought that was a very good thing to say about Arkham Horror.
Yeah, that is very fair.
This has nothing to do with the game, but did any of you guys ever see the recently made Lovecraft adaptions that were done by this small group, the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society?
I do not believe I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because they made Call of Cthulhu as a silent movie, done in a silent 1920s style, and then they made Whisper in Darkness as more of a 30s or 40s film.
Man, so that's just like basically the two that you really need to do if you're going to do homage to Lovecraft.
Yeah, they did those two, and I actually got to be an extra in the Whisperer one.
Nice.
Okay, I've got to go find this.
Everyone's got to go find this. This is definitely something for all the people at home as well.
Yeah, we'll have to link that with the update.
Yeah, I'll figure out a link for that in the update.
Well, the story is set in Vermont, and I live in Massachusetts, so when I had heard about that they were going to be up in New England filming on location, I had contacted them and said, "Hey, I'm this guy, I do voiceovers and stuff," and they were like, "Well, that's nice, we don't care, but you can be an extra."
Well, they're lost, man.
I'll be happy to drive an hour. No problem, I'll be there. It was great. I mean, it was awesome.
As their loss, I will say.
Well, it was still fun to meet everybody, and because it was a great experience. But those movies did a really decent job, I think. And I know they're working on the next one, but I don't know.
I'm gonna have to look them up, and hopefully everybody else will look us up for the last episode, which will be next time. That's going to be Spires of Death, and hopefully Robokai will get out of that without PTSD. But I'm not sure that'll be true yet.
Well, we'll see. It is the finale, and I have been talking this one up. It won't disappoint in terms of at least in terms of what this mission will bring. Siskoi. I can play at the end of it every episode.
I really enjoy doing this, and I have to apologize to work because we didn't really get to talk about what the episode, what we were doing. So
the intricacies of the gazebo strategy, or the I think the game's going to do this. Oh, it's not actually doing that at all.
No, I got the main part of it out of the way, which was that this is kind of just the most pure Majesty mission for just letting your heroes do stuff. Mm-hmm. But otherwise,
well, it's just great because we all can hear you better this time around.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure that
the miracle of
got
spending
to hear
$50.
Yeah.
Oh, friggin' Arv, man.
But if you only have one more episode to do, I mean, I really would like to try and
well,
join you guys to
we
that
totally want you along, George. I mean, you've been awesome. We've loved having you along, and seriously, I mean, anything you need as a return favor, I owe you one, man.
Oh, you don't owe me anything, guys. Again, as the game's playing, and I'm thinking I shouldn't be telling these anecdotes while the game's going, because they can't talk about what's going on in the game, So tough call.
We're pretty good at getting in the mechanics we need to get in.
Good.
Only my suffering has gotten us more views than your episodes have. So
Your
on the
suffering.
whole, All right. I think that's enough. We've been talking for about 8 hours at this point. I've been Orv.
I've been Cool Guy.
I've been the Lost Robokai.
And I've been George Ledoux.
And we'll see you next time.